मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतं अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्ति उपहृतं अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः Translation purport. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. इसको बोलो 6:30 बजे आने के लिए. गौरव.
6:30 को आना.
कमलेश. एक मिनट.
इधर आओ ब्रदर.
तो मेरा बैग में ना साउंड बुक्स भी है. साउंड बुक्स. नॉट साउंड बुक्स.
6:30 बजे. वैष्णव गीत के छोटे छोटे किताबें.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Purport. For the intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent blissful abode for eternal happiness. Note this sentence. It is in order essential to be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent blissful abode for eternal happiness. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by the poorest of the poor without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It does not matter what one is, where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or a little water or fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one therefore can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by the simple method and thus attain the highest perfection life of eternity, bliss and knowledge? Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Understand? He wants only loving service. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotee. He does not want any kind of offering from a non-devotee. He is not in need of anything from anyone because he is self-sufficient. Yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in exchange of love and affection. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse in order to declare more emphatically that bhakti or devotional service is the only means to approach Krishna. No other condition, such as becoming a Brahmana, a learned scholar, a very rich man, or a great philosopher, can induce Krishna to accept some offering. Without the basic principle of bhakti, nothing can induce the Lord to agree to accept anything from anyone. Bhakti is never casual. The process is eternal. Its direct action in service to the absolute whole. Here Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord and the real object of sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme, in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then one should find out what the Lord desires of him. Right? It's not that whatever I want, I will do. Krishna, please accept. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants. And he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus, meat, fish and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flowers and water can be given to him. And he says of this offering, I will accept it. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruit milk and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving service if we offer such foods. In the 3rd chapter, verse 13, Shri Krishna explains that only remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. In other words, every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. Okay? So many people they ask, what have I done to suffer like this? I am very pure, I have not harmed anyone. But with each food you are taking, with each morsel you are taking, you are committing that food which is not offered to Krishna. But preparing nice simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of the Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enables one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body, and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food, since he already possesses everything that be. Yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving and in offering, is to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. I have very fond memories when I read this verse. In 1991 when I went home, I was having a very severe arguments with one of my cousins who was a staunch Mayavadi. Then I read this, I remember this, then I showed it to him. You explain this verse. He could not. To them, it is either a metaphor or a proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so, in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotees' words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually fast tasting. This point should be emphasized. Because of his absolute position, his hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that supreme absolute truth, can eat food and enjoy it. Once Giriraj Maharaj, he was preaching in Chennai, and in Chennai all full of Mayavadis. Then he wrote a letter because some of his colleagues, devotees, Lord Buddha told him, Maharaj is very staunch. And he used to preach very strongly against Mayavada. Prabhupada trained them with that. So some of them they said, no, you should not preach so strongly. So they were confused whether we should simply collect donations or or simply or we should if we oppose. So Maharaj wrote a letter to Prabhupada, like this, what should we do? We should preach or what? So meanwhile there is a long story I don't know. But then meanwhile Prabhupada wrote back saying that Vaishnava should never miss an opportunity to blast Mayavad place. Unfortunately I am the only one who is doing it. Incidentally Maharaj went to one rich man's house and then he was arguing with Maharaj, why you are not accepting Shankaracharya, this and that. So Maharaj initially wanted to be polite and okay, shall we accept Shankaracharya also. Narayana Paravekta, Prabhupada quoted and all. Then when he went too far, then he blasted him. Maharaj, full blast. Then then he said, okay, he is packing his bags. Now he won't become member. So So he packed his bags and got up to leave. He said, wait, come. Then he took him inside and there's a huge temple of Radha Krishna.
Yeah.
Then he said, I am actually staunch devotee of Krishna, I was testing you. And then when he came back to his room, then he found the letter of Srila Prabhupada. Then in Prabhupada where he wrote saying that no Vaishnava should never miss the opportunity to attack Mayavadis. So Patram Pushpabalandaya verse is there, Prabhupada was describing. Then in the end, he was attacking Mayavad plus. So, in the beginning of the purport, Prabhupada it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent blissful abode for eternal happiness. So Prabhupada is stressing upon engaging in service of Krishna. So there are three things: Seva, Premamayi Seva, and Divya Premamayi Seva. Right? So Seva means you accept somebody as master, then he keeps giving orders, then you keep doing it. That is Seva. Then Premamayi Seva means is in this Seva, sometimes there is a compulsion. Sometimes you don't want to do it because you are compelled. There is a compulsion that if I don't do this service, I may lose my position, or he may lose good opinion of me. Like that, there are so many. I may not be rewarded properly. I may not get promotion. All these thoughts, Premamayi Seva means there is no compulsion. You are attracted to that person and then you do it.
The element of love.
Yeah, element of love. And because you love that person, so you serve. Right? So, what is Divya Premamayi Seva?
Applicable only to Krishna.
Yeah. Right? Unalloyed, that is why it is called unalloyed devotion service. Unalloyed. So, what is that verse connected to this point? To this? Very good. Anyamilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anamritam anukulena Krishna anusilami bhakti ruttama. Right? So the basic thing is, actually anywhere, if you want to please somebody, you must serve that person. Right? Only by service we can please somebody. Then that Premamayi Seva is there, spontaneous. You like that person, you want to do that. Correct? Like, of course, all of you do some nice service. Last time, I broke my Ekadasi. So, then Dwadasi I had to observe. That too because of Shirisha. They came back from Jagannath Puri. काजा दिया था सामने पड़ा था so बस खा लिया
because of seva.
So I was thinking, then I have to do fasting again, right? So somebody has to cook, so immediately I contacted her. Okay, can you cook? Yeah, she said no problem. So that is spontaneous, like sometimes I catch, because of cheap flights, I catch early morning flights, 5 o'clock. So the only person I go, I need prasad, so I tell, because I have no hesitation, because so she works, she wakes up 3 o'clock, 2:30, okay, I'm ready. So she never says, no, it's a problem, I have to. recently she was not coming from Mangalore for 3-4 days. Then I called her. I said, why you not coming? She has some health problem. Right? So the first thought it came to me that if she's sick, how will she serve devotees? Right? So I was just praying to Krishna, she should become alright. So because of her service attitude, I'm favorably inclined. That's how you all do service. I'm just taking one example. I'm pleased with everybody. But I'm just telling my mental condition, what I'm thinking about a person who is ready to serve. I'm a small person. Just imagine Krishna, he is very merciful and compassionate. If somebody does some service, how much he will be pleased. That is why Bhakti means Prabhupada translated into
Service,
loving devotional
Service.
service. Right? Loving devotional service. So, actually, spontaneously we should be ready to. Not that, because I tell you, or somebody tells you. We should have that attraction. No, I want to serve Krishna. That is called transcendental loving service. So these three things are involved. Anyabhilashita sunyam, jnana karmadi, anabhilashita. Right? So we should be free from jnana. So what is meant by free from jnana? Like you are also reading Bhagavatam, right? So are we acquiring jnana? So that is a speculative knowledge. That will lead you to Brahmajyoti. Right? Brahmajyoti. So reading of Bhagavatam is the highest devotional principle. So we are not acquiring knowledge by reading Bhagavatam. Right? We just read Bhagavatam. Actually there is no need to understand Bhagavatam. You just read, just keep reading, that's it. Krishna will reveal it in your heart. There is no need also. That's why Bhagavata Padagiya, Bhagavata Sthani. So devotee should sit together and discuss Bhagavatam. Right? So that when we are reading Bhagavatam, that is we are not acquiring knowledge. We are doing devotional service. Right? Then karma, if you do karma, what happens? Jnana karmadi. Karma means? One which gives you next body. So we should avoid doing karma under all circumstances. Okay? So anya abhilashita means like Krishna is saying, ananyas chintayantu ma. Ejana
Pariparshade.
Ananya means no other thing. Here in Vishnu Thakur explains this ananyas chintayantu ma. You think only of Shyam Sundara form, no one else. That is called ananyas chintayantu. Without any deviation, without any break. Satatam kirtayantu ma. Like that. So we stay away from Bhogvilas, sense enjoyment, and then even there are unfavorable conditions, still we don't forget. Right? So because there are some unfavorable conditions, I am chanting Hare Krishna, I will go to someone else. That is not Ananyas Chintayantu. So to such a person, then also Krishna says Avyabhicharini Bhakti. What is meant by Vyabhichar? Huh?
Not devoted to one person. Going to
अपना है उससे छोड़ के, a woman has one husband, उसको छोड़ के दूसरे के साथ जाना व्यभिचार. Okay? Avyabhichar means she is not
chaste.
So what is the here? What doesn't belong to us and what belongs to us? In this connection, in context of the soul, what belongs to the soul and what doesn't belong to the soul?
Krishna belongs to
Yes.
Yes, Krishna belongs to the soul. What doesn't belong to the soul?
What doesn't
Body, this material world, So if we have any kind of sambandha with this body and this material world, then we are vyabhichari.
Very good.
Right?
Correct.
When we have only connection only with Krishna, Krishna ki hi. Today's topic. Punchline. Today's punchline is Krishna ki hi, not Krishna ki bhi. Right? So we have only connection only with Krishna. That is called vyabhichari, avyabhichari. And if we are very attached to this body and material progress, our bodily comforts, neglecting spiritual growth, that is called vyabhichari. So we should be careful, not to be vyabhichari. Can a Vaishya be happy?
No.
Like that. That's why we are not happy. Why? Because we are vyabhichari. Mamchaya vyabhichari. Bhakti yogena sevate. Saguna samadhisyada Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Very important verse. Prabhupada quoted many times. Okay? Such a person, Krishna is saying, Yogakshemam Bahamya. What is Kshemam and what is Yoga? Kshemam means Krishna is protecting you. Because Krishna will not give you which is not required for your devotion service. Right? Yoga means, what is, like in our previous lecture we have discussed, what is the most important thing for advancing in spiritual life? Yes, how that faith, how to increase that faith? Sadhu Sangha. The most essential ingredient for advancing in Krishna consciousness is Sadhu Sangha. So if you are Ananyas Chintayantam, Yogakshemam Mahamyaham, means Krishna will give you Sadhu Sangha. He will send you, hey, go to that sadhu. You hear from him. That's how. Then how he is protecting you? Kshemam? He is protecting you from, and he won't give unnecessary things. Right? He won't give you unnecessary things. So that you will become entangled. Like that. Such a person, Krishna is saying, these are all verses are connected. Huh? From such a person, Krishna is saying, I will accept. Patram Pushpam. Not that,
All our offerings are gone.
I will explain this part. Whether Krishna is accepting or offering or not. But the philosophy, we talk. Highest philosophy. Right? Like in the morning session also we are doing. There are, she is asking something. So it's not this is the highest philosophy. Tolerating all non, everything. Like everything. Then there are some practical. Somebody comes to me and asks, how. Then according to that person, I give the advice. Right? Like Prabhupada said, divorce is not good enough. And one Mataji, she came and asked Prabhupada, I want divorce. So Prabhupada said, okay. Then somebody asked Prabhupada, you only said that divorce is not good. Why are you agreeing, allowing? He said, no, even if I don't agree, she will do it. At least she can avoid Guru Aparat. Guru Avajna. Like that, we have to be practical. We can't be highest level, everybody cannot act. So, Nitya Abhiyuktana, one who is completely Nitya Abhiyuktana. What is that? Nitya Abhiyuktana. So when all these material things are there, these grains and all. So ninth, we are having Havan. So when we do Swaha Swaha in the fire, that is called Yajna. Same material things we give it to some poor man and all. It becomes charity, dana. Right? And then we don't use those things and voluntarily do not accept those material things for our sense enjoyment. Then it becomes tapa. Okay? Then if you offer everything to Krishna, that becomes yoga. That is when we offer all these ingredients to the fire, it becomes yajna. When we give all these things to poor man, it becomes poor man or anything. It becomes charity, dana. Right? When we don't accept all these things for our own sense enjoyment and renounce, then it becomes tapa. But when we offer everything to Krishna, that is called yoga. So that's what Krishna is saying, nitya abhiyukta.
The fire we are offering to the Lord, supposed to be offering.
Yeah, it's kind of. Sometimes you know, Indra yajna, they do it for little desires. So when Krishna is saying patram pushpam phalam toyam, so when he's saying jal, toyam, means he is saying I want the highest form of the jal, most pure. Right? Like when we offer pushpa, what all pushpa? Krishna likes fragrant flowers. Hey, where is a mala?
Mala for the
Mala for me. Mogra garden.
very good.
So when we offer everything, so Krishna is saying, he doesn't say the quality of the product. It's not in that sense. He is saying bhava. That's why Krishna used two times bhakti. Bhava is required. So what is that bhava? Like Sabri, Rama did not check whether they are sweet or sour or anything. But actually it's not a fact that sensationalized there. Actually Sabri giving Judah. Actually in Valmiki Ramayana it's not there. So we don't accept. Sabri is not. She is not such a. She is a very great disciple of Matanga Rishi. Right. So she won't do such a mistake to Juta Gavri. Then Draupadi, she offered patta. Okay. That to Juta, because we should not suppose like when especially Grasthas should be when you invite some devotees, you should not say that food that is to be offered to the devotee guest, that should not be eaten by anybody in the family before. Once in Maniyar, we asked Maniyar, Maniyar? Girish Maniyar and Mataji. They called all of us, Bhakti Srutana, we are all there, Rasraj, we all went, they called us for lunch. Meanwhile, this Dhanvantari Prabhu, that is during Janmashtami time. Dhanvantari Prabhu and there is one more Murali Krishna Das. Both of them, he called both them also. They went and ate Prasad and went away. So Rasraju came to know, he said, we are not going to eat. So how you can offer food when you invited a sannyasi? How you can give juta to a brahmachari and grastha to a sannyasi? He came back. Rasraju crying, falling at their feet. 1 hour it persevered, then it's okay. And again we went. So it is an offense, great offense. If when you invited a devotee, then before a devotee ate, you feed to your children or so like very careful, be careful. It's an offense.
But they put something else in packet
Yeah.
of the duck, like
So it is considered juta. So juta you should offer to the devotees, especially guests.